Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming out to tonight's council meeting. Let the record show that all council members are present. We will have the invocation by Mr. Jones, and we will have the Pledge of Allegiance by Mayor Pro Tem Cobb. Would you please stand?
As we bring in all wondering minds and thoughts and think about the goodness that we have been blessed with in this land and how we are able to live together in peace, love, and harmony. Most gracious and Heavenly Father, I pause to say thank you that you watched over us last night while we slumbered and slept. And God, early this morning, that you peeped over the back of the heaven, you smiled on us. You allowed us to rise to a brand new day that wasn't promised to us. We thank you for it. Now, God, we ask you to order our footsteps and regulate our mind. God, we ask you to give us love, peace, and harmony and unity, Father. Bless this council, God, one by one, Father, that the tasks, mighty tasks they must undertake, Father. Give them the courage and the wisdom, Father. Touch our mayor, God, in a very special way, God. In the name of Jesus, Father, we ask you right now, God, to just bless us over, God. Lead us, oh God, as we go down this path of life. Realize, oh God, that we cannot run this race on our own. We rely on your mercy and grace. We thank you for it, Father. God, we ask you to continue to be with us and guide us, Father. God, when we have done all these old hands have been signed to do, when we shall go in our closet, study word no more, when we shall stick up our swords in the sign of time to study word no more. Give us a home somewhere in your kingdom where we may be able to praise your name forevermore. These and all blessings, Rachel, in righteous name. Amen, amen, amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Edmund Jones and Mayor Pro Tem. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Councilmember Solomon?
Yes, so move. A motion to approve the agenda.
Okay. Somebody else, who seconded?
Second.
Councilmember Adams. Yeah, mine's not working either. Councilmember Adams.
A second. There you go. A second.
Okay, second. All right. So we have a motion by Councilmember Solomon and a second by Councilmember Adams. All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you, Council. Now we will have citizen comments. For individuals that speaking tonight that may be new, for our citizen comments, you have 4 minutes. And you must speak on the agenda items. Council, you have 1 minute if you would like to respond. Mr. Sean Price, good afternoon. You have 4 minutes, sir.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, council, mayor.
Good evening, sir.
So I asked last week when we had all this on the agenda last week, I asked an array of questions, and Ms. Gonzalez was the only one to actually answer 3 of those questions. There are still 19 other questions I have about most of the items on this list. But tonight I'm just going to ask if we can discuss or explain. What was it? The security guard at the library. How many security guards are we actually employing with $260,000? That was one of my questions last week that didn't get answered. So it's just, if I can get an answer to that, that would be great. What was it? I'm in support for the mental health for the police if you've ever dealt with mass trauma or mass casualties events, there's a lot of mental health care that has to take place. This is very damaging for people that weren't there, that didn't happen, but even though that you go up and you pick up the body parts off the battlefield or off of an accident scene, it's extremely traumatic, and nightmares occur over and over again, and it happens for a lifetime. So if we can get a positive affirming the help for our police and our fire department, it'd be greatly appreciated. The network path for Rosa Community Center, I understand that the city is on its own network, but why does the retirement center need a military-grade secure system outside of HIPAA? I'm not sure, and I don't understand why they're getting a military upgrade according to the city outlet for this amount of money. So outside of encrypting medical data, I don't know what we're doing, and that can be done at any level. We don't have to spend the money, is what I'm saying. So I got a question with that, and then I guess the public hearing is on a different measure. So those
you.
are pretty much my questions right there.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir. Michael Fornino. Good afternoon. You have 4 minutes.
RS 24041, Executive Director of Public Works appointment. I don't think there's a person in this room, in this town, that can advocate for a better, more effective, more dynamic, more professional individual than Mr. Reynolds. Enough said on that. Point makes itself. Please have that individual stop getting so close to me. I have to put up with this? For police mental health, reading through the packet, I would recommend, the only thing that doesn't seem to be in there, give it about 6 months, and with a delegation from the police, just double check and make sure that the program does meet their needs, and if we have to, that we can tweak it to better suit their needs. If there's something that is too much or not enough, just get the mixture right on their care on something like that. I'm sure the Sergeant Stickles and the union reps will absolutely be able to give better feedback on something like that, because when it comes to mental health, with regard to Mr. Price's comments, I wholeheartedly agree. For those of you who have not experienced some of the things that police, first responders, or anything like that will happen upon, whether by accident or by violence, those are things that will keep you up for the rest of your life. With regard to the Crime Solutions Committee, an idea that I first proposed that was supposed to be a very simple idea. It was more supposed to be nothing more than a forum, a more direct feedback between the police, code enforcement, both police departments for that matter, both KISD, and I understand that there's problems with liaising with a completely separate entity, but if KISD PD and KPD could get together, I mean, it's a simple idea. It costs taxpayers nothing but time and a little bit of building space to sit down and just get honest feedback. What's working, what doesn't work. Have the police forward some ideas. Hey, how can we help? And have the citizens say, hey, that may work in my neighborhood, but it's not going to work in this neighborhood. It's just supposed to be a forum. That's all it's supposed to be. We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. That's not our job. The professionals solve crime. It just solutions. It can be a very vacuous term on something like that, but it's a simple idea with a simple concept, just once a month and all that. But here we are, 2 years later, and we still haven't heard a result from it. I mean, as I understand it, Mr. Adams is working very diligently to give it a solid framework, but I mean, I think we're overthinking it in many ways. It's just supposed to be a simple forum. The people tell the cops what's going on, and the cops tell the people what they're doing, what they're proposing, and just get a better idea. Then that way we're not working against ourselves. That's all there is.
ask you to bear with me. I had some dental work done this afternoon. When it comes to the police department, their mental health care plan that they are asking this council to approve, I was on the council when ARPA money came in and had to be dispersed, and I have never been so proud to be able to support something. This is one of the initiatives that I requested, is that we put money into mental health care for police and fire. We put money into premium pay fire station for the KPD range, which I heard was mentioned yesterday, but we did put ARPA money aside for that. The EOC, and of course, the mental health. Mental health for first responders, I just want to point out, several people have mentioned to me, citizens, that they don't think we should be spending so much because our employees have such great low-cost health care that covers it at no cost. So just for the sake of everyone listening, and the chief, I'm sure, could back me up on this if needed, currently our health care plan for employees, including our first responders, which includes the police department, they get one free mental health care visit a year. That's it. Anything else is paid out of their pocket, and they have to find a way to schedule it around their shifts. A first responder dealing with trauma internally is less safe to themselves, whether it be accidental injuries, whether it be suicide, whether it be not having the patience to deal with the citizens they come in contact with, and less safe for the citizens. I know there was talk about bringing in more internal chaplains, and while chaplains are great, religion isn't everybody's method that they go through. Talking to someone in a spiritual way isn't going to be healing for everyone. And then you're going to have a share of officers who are afraid to talk to anybody who's internal to the department, like chaplains are. Even if we bring in outside chaplains, there's too much of that connection, and it's not quite as clear-cut on the HIPAA laws on those. So while I don't disagree that the more resources we can bring in, the better off all of our officers will be, I do think it's important to continue to support the mental health services, both for the police and the fire, the EMTs, outside of the city, letting them have a third party they can talk to that they can trust. And I thank the council for putting the safety of our first responders at the top of the priority, which in essence puts all of our citizens at the top of your priorities. So I have full belief that the council will do the right thing in supporting this, but I just did want to clarify for the public why this is so important. Thank you.
Mr. Leo Gukaisen.
Sorry about that. I'm sorry. Council members, city managers, and residents. Today I'm here to talk about four little things real quick. The first one is the RS 24026, the fire station EOC and training facility. As I mentioned last week, this is long overdue. This type of project is going to benefit in the short run and the long run for the city. So we have the facilities to keep our firefighters and EMT personnel trained on the current methods used. RS 24034, low-income housing. That is something that we really do need here in Killeen to help, because we know everybody's not equal, and some people have problems paying for rent of a good place. And this type of housing area or subdivision, or whatever you want to refer to it as, will benefit a lot of people here in Killeen, and that's what we should be doing. RS 24037, the police department's mental health. Again, I mentioned that last week. Again, long time awaiting. Again, this is really going to help to help our law enforcement personnel, because each person reacts in their own way to certain situations. And this will allow them the opportunity to seek professional help, not just a barroom buddy down at the local drink hole telling them what they think. They will get professional help, and it's needed to keep them on the job. And the last item is the appointment of the Executive Director for Public Works. Mentioned it last week, great person. I, for one, glad to see that he's coming back. I had a couple of issues that I brought up to him when he was here before, and he took care of them, got back with me. And real good community relationships there, and I think that's a good thing to have him back. Thank you.
Thank you for those nice compliments, Mr. Gukaisen. Council, thank you all for really focusing on the mental health side of it. Thank you also to Mayor Pro Tem Cobb for bringing that item before us in her field as a nurse. That was one of her top priorities for this council. And so we thank you all for everything that you have done, council, to make this happen. If there's no more comments, we can move forward with the consent agenda. Madam Secretary.
LMN 24005, consider minutes of regular city council meeting of January 30th, 2024. RS 24026, consider memorandum resolution awarding bid number 2419 Fire Station Number 4 EOC Training Facility Project to MW Builders in the amount of $22,184,000. RS 24027, consider a memorandum resolution to revise the Crime Solutions Committee bylaws and amend the committee membership structure. RS 24028, consider a memorandum resolution declaring a vacancy on the Arts Commission and appointing a new member to fill the vacancy. RS 24029, consider a memorandum resolution amending the joint election contracts with Killeen Independent School District and the Tax Appraisal District of Bell County. RS 24030, consider a memorandum resolution to appoint members to the Animal Advisory Committee. RS 24031, consider a memorandum resolution granting an operating authority to Longhorn Taxi. RS 24032, consider a memorandum resolution to readopt the financial governance policy to include the investment policy as amended and repeal resolutions 08168R, Identity Theft Program, and 18026R, Capital Projects Policy. RS 24033, consider a memorandum resolution awarding RFP 2404, Security Guard Services at the Main Library to Security Reconnaissance Team Incorporated in the amount of $260,115. RS 24034, consider a memorandum resolution of support for the low-income housing tax credit application to Texas Department of Housing and Community Affairs for Avanti Legacy Westwood. RS 24035, consider a memorandum resolution authorizing a professional services agreement with Engineered Interiors LLC for the design and construction support of the community center roof replacement in the amount of $69,600. RS 24036, consider a memorandum resolution authorizing the purchase of fire department uniforms from Impact Promotional Services LLC, doing business as Got You Covered Workwear and Uniforms, in an amount not to exceed $114,829 for FY 2024. RS 24037, consider a memorandum resolution to award RFQ 2420 Police Department Mental Health Clinician to A&L Solutions in an amount of $275,000. RS 24038, consider a memorandum resolution authorizing the award of bid number 2421 Chaparral Pump Station Rebid Project to SSP Industries LP with a contract in the amount of $7,916,365. RS 24039, Consider a memorandum resolution authorizing JC Communications to install a fiber network path to the Rosa Herford Community Center in the amount of $129,106.84. RS 24040, consider a memorandum resolution authorizing the purchase of Cisco SmartNet support and maintenance using the Texas DIR TSO 4167 contract in an amount not to exceed $274,495.90. RS 24041, consider a memorandum resolution approving the appointment of an executive director of public works.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Council, before we vote, we're going to pull item RS-24-027 from the consent agenda per Councilmember Adams. With that being said, Councilmember Solomon.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the consent items
And with
with the exception of
RS.
RS 24-027.
Thank you for that motion. Councilmember Adams.
Madam Mayor, second.
All in favor, yes. All opposed, no.
Actually,
Thank you, Councilmember Adams.
I had a question. Well, I also wanted to pull an item from the agenda. So I'm gonna
Okay.
make a motion. It's going to be RS-24-026. That's going to be for a question.
Mr. Adams, would you rescind your second?
I rescind.
Councilmember Solomon, would you please rescind your motion? Okay, so where are we
I
at now?
rescind
Yes, sir. So back to your motion.
And which,
It was RS-24-027. Mr. Cagle, would you show him the second one?
26 and 27.
Yes, sir. Okay, so could you please repeat that motion, sir?
Madam Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the consent items with number 3, RS 24-027, and RS 24-028?
6
26
be pulled from the agenda.
be pulled from the agenda.
Thank you, Councilmember Solomon. Councilmember Adams?
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Thank you, Madam.
Yes, you're welcome, sir. All opposed, no. Chief Kabinski, could you please come to the front, sir? The motion carries 7-0. Thank you, council. Good afternoon, Chief. How are you doing?
Good afternoon, Mayor. Very well, Council, Mr. Manager.
Yes.
All right, thank you. I'll just wait for acknowledgement. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Good evening, Chief. The sole question I have is in relation to an email that the council recently received in regards to the future growth regarding this facility. And so it was challenged whether or not we're building for the future and we have enough space in the core facility, which is the EOC, which was originally prioritized before we included the fire station in the alternative. So I just want to verify that in another 20 years or so, we're not coming back having to add on to the building. Definitely not accusing anyone of that happening, but I just want assurance that we have indeed considered the future.
We absolutely have considered the future in this project, in the fact that there are 3 classrooms that are on the second floor that are going to be used for the Fire Academy classrooms as of now. And as the city grows, if we need Fire Academy classrooms elsewhere, the EOC will then expand into those Fire Academy classrooms. So we have absolutely 100% took growth and expansion into the future into this project. That was our primary focus when we started this.
Outstanding. That's all I was asking. The second thing I just thought about, the council didn't receive the blueprints or the floor plans for this building. It'd be nice if we can get that to just be able to take a glance at it. We've seen the exterior, the elevations, but we haven't seen the floor plan. That's all I got. Thank you.
We'd be happy to send those to you.
Councilmember Solomon, are you going to make a motion? I see you're up here. Are you going to make a motion to approve RS-24-026?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve RS 24026.
Councilmember Adams.
I second.
see you up. All right, all in favor, yes. All opposed, no. The motion carries 7-0. We will now have public hearing. Madam Secretary.
Madam Mayor,
Oh,
we
we
still need
still-
to hear RS 24027.
But that item just pulled from the agenda. It wasn't for discussion.
Yeah, we still gotta vote on it.
No. Councilmember Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Council, the reason why I
Thank you,
pulled,
Madam Secretary. Sorry about that.
reason why I pulled this is because if we approve this tonight and it'll be effective tonight, then I wouldn't have a quorum for tomorrow's meeting. So I ask the council's indulgence now to move, and I would move to approve effectively 1 March 2024.
Councilmember Solomon, is that a second? I see you pushed. Is that a second to his? All in favor, yes, and it's to move this to come into effect March the 1st. RS-24-027. Motion carries 7-0. Now we will go to a public hearing. Thank you, Councilmember Adams and Councilmember Solomon and Madam Secretary.
Public hearings. PH 24005. Hold a public hearing and consider an ordinance submitted by Gerber Ochoa on behalf of Shaw Motors LLC, case number Z2331, to rezone approximately 4.63 acres being part of the R.A. McGee Survey, abstract number 561, from A, agricultural, to B4 business district. The subject property is generally located on the east side of South Fort Hood Street, approximately 1,920 feet south of the intersection of Chaparral Road, Killeen, Texas. The caption of the ordinance reads, "An ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Killeen by changing the zoning of approximately 4.63 acres out of the R.A. McGee Survey, abstract number 561, from A, agricultural, to B4 business district, providing a savings clause, providing for the repeal of conflicting provisions, providing for an effective date."
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Council, Mr. Revelle presented this presentation last week. Would you like for him to come up? Okay, no, on that side. Okay, thank you. We will now have the applicant, if he or she would like to speak. Good afternoon, sir. You have any time you want.
Good evening, Mayor and the council members. My name is Ahmad, owner of Shaw Motors. I just want to address and share some information regarding that application, which is PH 24005. Before I decided to purchase this property, I asked twice from the city, and I get the information. And what the city told me, like, you have a big chance to get approved, or you can convert it to the B, because this one is 195 highway, and all businesses going to 195. So that's why we just bought that land. And also, Sir Ochoa, the third time also asking from the city to what's the process, and the city told us, so you have a chance, but you need to follow the process. So that's why we are here. And the funny thing, so once we got approved from council members, and also 2 times from the commissions, and now the news is spread it to my army families and my customers. Everybody just calling me, and they told me, hey, just congratulations that your next location will be coming to Killeen, because I was a general contractor with the U.S. Army in the past like 16 years. 80% the military family, they know me and they're trusting me, and I treat them back like as a family member. Even like last week, I wish to bring their application. 5 people was coming, drive all the way from Killeen to Pflugerville to bought a vehicle from me. Even this morning, like 2 customers, we also got it from, they was coming from Killeen all the way to Pflugerville. So that was also their emphasize and their inspire to why we would, what if you open another location for us that would be close. And that's why I just shared that one to Sergeant Ochoa. He was also my representative, also like I know him from a long time back in overseas, and we bought that land. In that location is also like, it's located 195 in, so there is no residential on the right side, there is no residential on the left side, it's just face to 195, so only one residential way back in the back, and of course, once everything go through, and I will be not, like bothering, not like the neighbors, I want to make it like a good fence to do not bothering, like the residential and also the traffic. And I'm sure the building which I'm putting on that land, I think I just give a design and you will come to see it. But this will be not like I know that this is a used car lot, but that used car lot will be not like the one which is, I hold the land. No, I want to make something like a professional standard. I know that like that there's like one of the public say like there is a lot of like used car land is banded, but no, my dealership will be way much different than the others. I want to bring some professional in a standard cars. It will be close to the franchise. And that's only I want to share, and thank you so much for your time and allow me to bring that opportunity here.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
We will now open up the public hearing. Melissa Brown. You have 4 minutes.
I'd like to thank both of the applicants for their service to our country. And I've already had an opportunity to speak with them tonight, so nothing that I'm going to say will come as a surprise to them. I will say that the only time we make exceptions for the military in the city is if Fort Cavazos themselves is asking for it. We appreciate the service, but just because someone is a veteran, we can't set aside all of our plans. There was a question about a strategic plan. The basis of any strategic plan in this city is the comprehensive plan that we spent all that money on. Comprehensive plan says that this is an area that we should not be developing in right now. The city council, when the comprehensive plan was being put in place, had made a motion of direction that the 195 corridor should be saved for manufacturing and industrial, as it is a prime location for that. With access to Austin and our airport, it would just a great draw to those larger businesses. I think my biggest issue with this is the lack of any kind of sewer system in that area. I know that the investors have said that they will pay for all of that. However, this is a simple zoning case, so we can't require that. They can say it all they want to. But once the council makes the decision, there is no way to change that back. There is no way for anyone to force them to put in that infrastructure. We could end up doing it at cost to us, even if it goes out there and they pay for their proportional share of it. Their proportional share is going to be very low since they would be the only customer using that line. In the donut hole, it was estimated that just for the few hundred feet to run from an existing sewer main over to individuals' homes, it would be approximately $10,000 per household, and that's only going at about 100 feet off of the main. I don't know where the closest main is to this that we would then have to bring another probably 36-inch line down, which is expensive. And I don't think that these people are prepared for that amount of expense. I asked them why this location. Had you looked at other places? They looked at a place on Clear Creek, but the city told them no, they're not allowed to build a car dealership on Clear Creek, which is already cluttered with car washes and fast food restaurants and everything else that we have on Veterans and Ransier and Stan Schluter and all of the other major roadways. So they said, we're having a brand new car dealership is being built on Stan Schluter at Cunningham right now, which was supposed to be office spaces and stores, but that's beside the point. We need to save areas in the city that are not just car dealerships, and I'll say that they're going to use hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of gallons of water, thousands of gallons of water, because each car they have on their lot will have to be washed and detailed. Without a sewer system, all of that's going to have to go through septic. The leach pond is going to have to be huge. Otherwise, the runoff from that is going to go into the neighbors behind them, which is downhill. I apologize, my clock isn't up in front of me, but I feel like I've probably come close to using my time. And so I appreciate the council for being gracious with me, but I would ask that you do not approve this zoning request. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Boyd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I had a question for.
Sir, you can come back up. He has a question for you. Oh, wait till I finish the public hearing.
Right.
Thank you for catching that, Council. I'm sorry. Councilmember, Boyd, you finished? Wait till I'm gonna call. Do you have anything for what she stated, or you want me just?
No, it was for the applicant.
Okay, all right. All right. Mr. Fornino. You have 4 minutes, sir.
I'm just waiting for a clock.
You can start, sir, I tell you. We're timing it now.
I don't know Mr. Shaw, other than very casually. I've been following this situation. And I am in favor of his proposal. And I will cite our Mayor Pro Tem not so long ago, who very emphatically stated that if you own property, you should be able to do with that property what you want to do, which is one of the prime reasons I've made Texas my home. Private property is inviolate. Your home is your castle, your domain, whatever. However, last meeting, Mayor Pro Tem reversed herself and worried, and I think rather insultingly, said that a car dealership on that plot of land in that location would be like lipstick on a pig. That's, it's scrambled, but it does work. That's exactly what she said. And the man has a dream, right? He has a plan, he has property. He wants to execute a business. He doesn't want to build another plot of single-family homes. He actually wants to generate commerce. As I understand it, the gentleman is from Afghanistan and had a very good working relationship with American troops, and now here he sits in our country wanting to fulfill the dream that he saw. He and I both have seen the alternative, and when it comes to trustworthy, et cetera, I'm not trying to belittle him when I say this, but there were plenty of people that we worked with in Afghanistan that were, quote, on our side, that had a knife or worse for all of our backs. So anybody who wants to question the validity or the veracity of what he wants to do and how he wants to do it, here he sits. Not knowing his entire life story, I would say that the man has the right to at least try. That's the American dream. That's what he's here for. If for some reason that plot of land doesn't go anywhere, maybe, just as a suggestion, maybe with regard to this proposal, maybe do a land swap. Just like in a casino, where people need, you don't put it where it's easily accessible to get in and get out of, like a bathroom. If you're walking around the casino floor, you rush to the bathroom, but they put the bathroom in between the slot machines, the tables, and everything else. People rush to get there. And on their way out, well, there's that, I'm gonna spend some money in a slot machine. Maybe I'll put 10 on black. Spin the roulette wheel. Just proper placement and all of that. I mean, something can be worked out. The man has a dream, he's here. And again, I don't know him personally, but something has got to be done. I mean, I'm offering a compromise. Folks in this town like to accuse me that I don't offer solutions or anything like that. Offer a land swap, land deal, something. But the man has a right to try his business. If that's not the right location, work with him and maybe find a better location. That's just simple good business right there. It'll be better for him, be better for the town. Otherwise, leave him the hell alone and let him build his business. Nobody else wanted to do anything with that land. He did. He spent his money. It's his hard work, and that's what he wants.
Mayor Pro Tem. Mayor Pro Tem, do you have a comment, anything he said?
I do have a comment to state in reference to it, and I will continue with my stance that I do not think that is a place for a car lot. But what I am going to agree with you on that statement is that we can always go back and look at it and maybe find another option for it. Coming into the city, I think that that just does not fit. But the biggest comment I had was, I disagree, and I don't use language such as lipstick on a pig. I call it for what it is.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Sean Price.
I'm back. Madam Mayor, City Council. So, on this road where this prospect for a dealership is at, there's a pick apart junk lot right there. It's already there. It's been there for years. The whole general area is industrial. You have metal recycling. You have the dump is out that way, right? You got a lot of stuff. It's all right there. And he wants to build a building and a facility that's far nicer than most of the buildings right there in that general area within a 2-mile range. He said that he'll put, the infrastructure in there to meet the needs. And I think, if he said he'll do it, he'll put that in writing for the city so we can get some kind of guarantee. And this is a $1.5 million investment on a piece of industrial property that nobody else wanted. And I'm like, hey, man, I wish I had a dream and that kind of money to start my own business. I don't think that we should deny him his dream. I think he's holding a very, very American dream. And I think the man should have that dream. On the other one, on 24006, I say let them go. If they want to get out of the city.
Sir, you cannot talk
Oh,
about
we're on,
that item.
okay, I thought I apologize. My mistake. I thought they were combined, so I apologize. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Public hearing is closed. Councilmember Boyd.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. What was just stated by a citizen is very, very much similar to what I stated last week. I personally think this could work in this area as far as aesthetics and boosting the view coming down, being right next to the transfer station. But I do have a question for the applicant, if you would please come forward. I understand this is a used car dealership, but specifically, what type of used cars are we looking to sell, if you will? Are we looking at Hyundais and Honda Accords, or are we looking at higher-end cars?
Good evening again, council members. Yes, sir, this will be not my first dealership. That will be my second dealership, which I have 10 years, 15 years experience with the car business. And of course, if a person investing like $1.5 million, and that definitely that will be something professional. So that the car which we are trying to sell it here, that will be not like the car, like the junk car, no. That will be definitely like a standard car, like a sedan, SUVs. Not like a commercial car like the truck or 18-wheeler, no. That will be only a specific small car like the sedan, SUVs.
Okay, got it. I will note that there's about 800 feet, about 1,000 feet close to a frontage between where the transfer station is, and I think it's Chaparral, if I'm not mistaken. So I could imagine if this 200 feet of frontage was used for a car dealership, that would leave 600 feet of frontage for future retail, should that get zoned in the future. That's all I got. Thank you.
Before he sat down, do anybody else have any questions for him? Sir, do you have one for him? Okay. Sir, I do have a question,
Yes.
and I brought this up last week, and it was to me the infrastructure. And I remember when you came here a while back, you said you would pay for all the infrastructure
Yes.
for laying the pipe, and I don't know if septic tank, did that ever come up into a conversation?
Like we say early, that area, that will be not only like my business. So there is a lot of other businesses, like the O2 in other businesses under the area. We will ask from them, like the what facility, what like they're using, what they are doing. So we will also follow up with the city, and we will see which one will be suitable to we can use it for that company.
Yes, sir. Were you aware that on Central Texas Express that a car dealership just came open? That they vacated that building and it's for sale?
Yes.
Okay, so you know it's one there.
Yes. Yeah, there is already.
Have you considered you moving there, but you just want to put it on that land? You don't want to purchase the one that's already developed?
No, this land is an empty land. So what I will do, I will be, like my engineer already designed the building in all those lot, everything as you can see it in the proposal. So my engineers already like done all those things. We will definitely work on that land to make it like a professional, not like that one which is already, no, there is no any dealership right now in that land. So I will be the only one to build it.
But you did look at the car dealership vacant building on Central Texas Express?
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
yes, yeah,
all right.
Yeah, a lot of them.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilmember, do you have a question for him? Okay, Councilmember, yes, sir, you next anyway. So Councilmember Solomon, you're next.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Do you have, this design that you have, is it going to be exactly like this?
Yes, sir. The building which you see on the front page, that will be the same design. I'm going to put it on that building.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And that's also the surrounding, how it's going to look? Of the
This
building?
will be that one that was like did by my engineer. So, but that only one residential all the way in the back. There's only one small house, which is
Okay.
way far from that land. But of course, I will put some nice fence to do not disturb the residential at all.
Okay, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I also have a question for Ms. Rebel.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. He has one from Mr. Revelle. Mr. Revelle, Councilmember Solomon has a question for you.
Could you explain to us in terms of the difference between B4 versus B3 in terms of restricted area?
Yes, sir. And if I may, as the council considers this decision, typically you have three options, right? To approve, to disapprove, or to approve a more restrictive zoning district. So as it relates to So I just wanted to make sure that the council was aware of that. As it relates to B4, typically, the best way I could describe it is uses that would be allowed in B4, but would not be allowed in B3. And I think as you all think about this, it's important to share this information. I know there's been a lot of conversation about what the applicant plans to do, but typically when we look at zoning, we're concerned about all the uses associated with zoning that could be allowed. So all the uses that could be allowed in B4 that would not be allowed in B3 is auto sales like you're discussing tonight, but also a commercial parking garage, an auto repair shop could be there as well. Building material and lumber sales could be in B4 as well. A ballpark or stadium or athletic field, plumbing, electrical, and air conditioned service shop, a gourmet or garment or clothing manufacturing facility, a halfway house, a liquor store. Those are things that could be allowed in B4. And as you're considering your decision, more than just the used car or sales lot, but would not be allowed in B3. The things that would be allowed in B3 would be things such as a nursing home or hospital assisted living facility, mortuary or funeral chapel, an appliance sales and repair service shop, boat and accessory sales, an oil lube station, and basically a grocery store, a garden shop, less intense uses, a restaurant, things like that, and also a hotel, kind of motel. Now, I hope I'm addressing your question.
You are, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Revelle, I think somebody else may have a question. I'm not sure right now. Councilmember Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Revelle, for that information. Just to clarify, the property is currently zoned as agricultural, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. My comments remain the same as they were last week during the workshop. I think it's a great project, looks amazing. Whenever we consider a rezoning request, there's some foreign typical considerations that we have to kind of read through and feel our way through those considerations to see if it makes sense. At this time, I would have to be opposed to rezoning it, anything besides what is currently zoned, because of the fact that there is zero access to city utilities. And I think if we're allowing businesses to move into the city, they have to be able to tie into city infrastructure. Otherwise, I think when we look at these considerations, that it's not suitable for this type of zoning at this time because there's no connectivity. And I know you've mentioned before that you would put in the infrastructure needed, but allowing new businesses to come in under septic tanks, when that's something that, in my mind, we've been trying to eliminate. The city has septic tank elimination programs developed to try to eliminate the use of septic tanks within the city limits, and there's no potable water supply line there accessible from the city. You would be using, I'm assuming it'd be West Bell Co-op water supply, again, which is you wouldn't be a ratepayer for the city. So you'd be using city services, police, fire, solid waste, but you wouldn't be paying into the system because you wouldn't be able to tie into it without an exorbitant cost. I think last we talked about sanitary sewer is over a half a mile away. To develop sanitary sewer lines, about $150 to $200 a linear foot. I think it just wouldn't do any justice for yourself or for the city at this time. So I just wanted to reiterate those points. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Segarra.
Thank you, Mayor. And first of all, I just want to say congratulations. Thank you for being a risk taker. This is something that we as a city talk about, we need an anchor, we need somebody that has that sense of confidence. The more I hear you, the more I see you, and the more people try to give you justifications as to why this doesn't work, the more you say, you stick to your guns. And that just kind of shows the experience that you have as an entrepreneur, because, it's a 50-50 chance that anything's going to work, but you have to have that confidence and that ability to just say, you know what, this is going to work, because I look at you and it sounds like you already have, this already is in your mind making money. It's a sense, so I commend you for that. And I hope that it does get approved, because I think that you can do a lot in that area. We're always trying to grow that area. There's a university, and the more I think about it, the more I think this is genius, because I have, something in that area for sale, and I did a traffic count of the number of vehicles that go through there. It's astronomical. Putting that near other places, next to a car dealer, you're going to have all this traffic by yourself out there. And so I think that is pretty smart, because the traffic is going to come out there and it's going to come to you. But you do have a little bit of challenges, but like I say, the confidence is there. I think that, those are going to happen no matter what type of business you are. I always kid around, I haven't had a real job in 30 years because I've been an entrepreneur for 30 years, and I've lived with a lot of challenges, and what makes me go a lot of times is when somebody says, you can't do that. And so I can see that in you. Hopefully, you'll get an opportunity to show everybody the great thing that you're going to do over there. And so I'm in favor of doing this. Thank you.
Councilmember Adams.
Thank you. My question was for Mr. Revelle. Still on the connectivity issue. The applicant said that he would, I guess for both of you. So is your plan to put in septic?
Yes, sir. If there is no any, line for the city, like what I mentioned earlier, there is a lot of business next to me. So we will ask from them to what they have been done for them for as a septic, and I will do the same thing.
Yeah, and understanding that we're trying to move away from septic. That's the hang up I think there is. Because I like the idea, and I appreciate what you've done.
To be honest with you, like me, my personality, what I will, like this one I do, but emotionally, honestly, and I will do from the bottom of my heart. I will not only hold the land. No, what I say, I will definitely do it, and we will be all the winners. One day, everybody will be go there, they will see it. What I'm doing, what I will do.
And I still haven't decided yet, but the issue is as we going forward, and what the cost it is for the city in the future to connect you to the site, because the work hasn't been done yet, and this is a zoning case on land that was not being used yet, and you are taking a chance as an entrepreneur to do it. I just, and I don't think we can make a requirement or a commitment to have you do that. Yes, no, we couldn't do that. So, I think that's still the hang up, the septic tank and your connection, because you would then become a business resident without paying the services. So I mean, that's something, I guess, Mr. Revelle, if I can, I don't know if you can answer this, Mr. Revelle, or is it Public Works? How far are we, Mr. Revelle?
Also,
how far are we with the other property that's to there? Do you know how far along are we to the septic? And I'm trying to just get too far off of the zoning case, but
Sure. What was shared with me is that in terms of the wastewater line, that's probably somewhere between a half a mile to a mile away, and that's from the city staff. So there would be quite a bit of effort that would be needed to address that. As Councilor Alvarez said, the water could possibly come through West Bell County, but that'll have to be addressed through them, and then also the on-site septic would have to be approved by Bell County. All of that would have to be verified as a part of the plating process.
Okay.
Should this move forward.
And it was mentioned in public comments about, and I don't remember exactly if it was just manufacturing and industrial. I thought we included commercial along inside when we were doing the comprehensive plan.
Well, and I don't recall all of the future land use for the area. I do know that initially, when the comp plan was done, this area was designated under residential mix.
Right.
And a part of the controlled growth. I think the idea behind that was, as many said, kind of allow growth to happen over time because the area wasn't ready for really intense growth. I think that was the reason behind that. Of course, back in October, the council as a body made the decision to change that designation from residential mix to regional commercial.
And that was the reason for your department to recommend approval?
That's in terms of for the zoning case?
Yes.
That's the primary driving factor.
Okay, thanks.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
So, Mr. Revelle, that's something that I'm hung up on, and I do appreciate the information you just gave. Thank you very much for that. When we're looking at the connectivity and the fact that the ratepayer would not be he'd be utilizing services, but not necessarily paying into them potentially, right? That's a risk that we have. However, as a commercial business in he would be paying taxes. Is that not correct? I mean, would he be a tax-paying entity?
Yes, he would.
So he would be, so he would be paying taxes, even though he's not necessarily paying okay. How do we typically grow? Like when we're in this situation, this is a little conundrum. Like how does this happen normally when you have a situation where we're not quite caught up to that area yet, but we still need to develop and grow? We don't want to halt development and progress. We don't want to stop private business from being able to establish and set up business. We don't want to affect our tax base, our potential tax base right there, which is another opportunity for our city. How does this typically work, sir? I mean, is this something that is a feasible request for the future, or is this something that you feel would put an undue burden on the city?
No, I think it's really incumbent as much as we can to follow our comp plan. It has really laid out the guide as it relates to growth and the guide as it relates to land use. I think this council as a body has done a tremendous job of ensuring especially as it relates to future land use changes, that's been minimized. I can just think back a year ago, there were a number of those kinds of changes happening. Now it's probably one or two. So I think we're headed in the right direction in following the comp plan. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
I think your question, though, was about extending, should the city pay to extend sewer?
Right.
And that is actually in contradiction to the comp plan because there's plenty of area within the city that has available service. And so we would extend the sewer line same manner and method we do anyone else. They would pay for it, and they connect to our system, and we have the sewer treatment plant and everything else.
I appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Councilmember Boyd, this is your last time, sir.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm sitting here thinking about this deeply. This essentially it's a risk on both sides. It's a risk on the applicant side. It's a risk on the city council side. We talk and deliberate about alignment with the comprehensive plan. Listening to the discussions on infrastructure, that's a very real issue, and that's become a bit of a concern for me. I can see how this can work, like I mentioned earlier, but my direct concern, if I'm being absolutely honest, is assurance. I don't have an assurance that we will get delivered this design, that it would be everything that it needs to be for that area. And so I just need to communicate that. It's absolutely a risk on both sides, and I'm still trying to make a decision on what's going to be best for the city of Killeen going forward. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem, this is your last time.
Sir, I may not say all of the things that we're aware of that's not there in an agriculture district, but there was something that was said. I never want to stop you from dreaming. Mr. Farino did say something. One of our constituents, I cannot say his name, I'm
Mayor Pro
sorry.
Tem, we did not call citizen names.
I will not say anyone's name. I apologize. Sir, there are many areas within our city that do have the vacant lots. I really think, sir, that when you look at this area, it's going to take a lot to get you to where you want to go with it. It's not that your dream, it's not too big or too small or not wonderful. It is. It's just that it doesn't fit. And that's what I'm saying to you. If you've heard all the statements that was made, that goes in the do not fit category. But do we want you to build? Do we not want you here? We want you here. We want everything that you're saying here. We just got to put it in the right place. And that's just not the right place to me because of the area and the things that are missing in that place. But I hope that our city and our staff, maybe we can locate some places where you can go there, start making all that money, build it up, and then once we get that area built up, put this beautiful place there.
Councilmember Solomon, this is your last time.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm trying to understand because staff has recommended the applicant. It's well in the comprehensive plan. So if staff is telling them it's okay, and I believe that the applicant understands the risks, he understands what he's getting into, as far as just the raw land out there and what he has in terms of the connections with the separate tank. So I'm just trying to understand, because if we are going to recommend and we're looking what's in the 24 comp plan, I'm trying to figure out why are we recommending this if it's not right?
Councilmember Solomon, I can answer that question.
Please.
This came before the council prior, and this council voted it down. Then when the council changed the flume, it was changed. The staff has no other choice but to follow what we voted on. The council didn't recommend it the first time, but we voted to change the flume, and when that happened, he could not turn them down if he wanted to, because we changed it. So the staff is only doing what they're required to do by state. So they can't say no.
Okay.
That is why. So it's not the staff fault. That's something we voted on. You weren't here when that happened. And I don't know if Mr. Revelle went into that. Did you tell the history of this?
No, I was here the last time.
Okay, all right. Any more questions?
And I'm saying, again, it's noted that it's in the comp plan. So did the staff say that because they didn't have a choice? I mean,
What I'm trying to say, Ms. Revelle, the council voted against it the first time. The staff was not for it. And Mr. Revelle, I don't know if I'm not going to put him on the spot. Mr. Cagle, would you go into that?
No, staff recommended it against the change in the flume, but council voted to change the flume. And so, following council's direction, we recommended approval for B4. And so, that really, and to help answer Mr. Boyd's question, the assurance that you can have tonight, if you change this to B4, the assurance you have is that something would possibly be built there, anything in B4, to minimum city standards. That's what you can walk away with assurance tonight. And the utilities is sort of a separate issue. That's something that the applicant would have to deal with if he gets the zoning. It's a secondary issue. The main issue tonight is B4 the correct zoning for this property.
And it sounds like B3 would be the correct.
Okay, Councilmember.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Oh, yes, sir. Councilmember Alvarez, this is your last time. Sir?
Thank you, Mayor. And I know we've circled the wagons on this numerous times, and there's a lot of different things at play, and we're talking about future land use map, which was amended against staff's recommendation. But I don't think that when that decision was made by this body, it was a 50,000-foot view where, okay, does business make sense in this area, 195? Sure, it makes sense. But it wasn't taken into account, okay, well, what does the infrastructure look like in that area? Is somebody going to come in and want to develop in a parcel that doesn't have access to utilities? Those weren't part of that conversation. It was a generalized, does business make sense in this corridor? Sure it does. It's a state highway. Why wouldn't you want commerce there? But unfortunately for the applicant, he's now caught in a situation to where he's trying to go in a place that it makes sense until you look at the access to utilities, that the growth hasn't really got there yet. And we talked about what drives growth. Well, private development drives growth. Chaparral Road, the majority of that section is still outside the city limits. And that's part of the reason why you haven't seen growth drive that way on Chaparral to connect to 195 to bring that infrastructure to you. The closest development is up north on Splon Ranch, but that was one of the things that Mr. Whitus, when that development was developed, he had to pay to bring in all that infrastructure, and that's how developers make money. They are able to sell the lots and absorb that infrastructure cost. In your case, that's not the case, I wouldn't imagine. There's several of us here in real estate. I'm sure you're very familiar with real estate, and that's something that I always advise my clients very heavily. Enter into a feasibility period first. Evaluate all the access to utilities, any hurdles that you're going to have to overcome before you purchase a property, because then you're kind of stuck in a situation to where you're here before a body and you're like, well, I already made the investment, I bought the property, and they're telling you, well, it really doesn't make sense because you don't have access to water or sewer. So like I said, and I've said from the beginning, I think it's an outstanding project. I would love to see it in the city. Unfortunately, it's just, again, going back to our FAR and TIPIC considerations, I don't think that this land at this particular time has the potential or the capability to service the development that you want to put there because of no city water and no city sewer. If it was a different time and you had access to those utilities, I would absolutely be in support of it. I do hope that you can make something else work. Maybe we can, you can turn around and sell it and look at purchasing something else.
Thank you. This is an important conversation, so thank you for working with us and kind of going through these things. I guess my only challenge that I'm having here is there was some mention of the minimum standards, but then also feasibility studies. We didn't get his financial records. I cannot assume that this gentleman cannot afford. We're assuming that he cannot afford whatever the cost is associated to develop the land that he's purchased. I don't know that. I don't have that information. So this is all important to the ultimate decision overall because of the changes to Councilmember Alvarez's point, which is very valid. But I can't also not assume that this gentleman does not have the means and has not done his research. I have to assume that hopefully as a business plan and a businessman that he has done his due diligence to make those determinations and factor in the cost absorption of what it's going to take to build out that land or tie in at his expense. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was one of the no votes a while ago on another business down that road that we took a risk on, and there was no residential activity happening. And so based on that, I'm going to move to approve RS PH 24005. I mean PH 24005.
Second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Councilmember Adams, second by Councilmember. We closed the public hearing way 5 minutes ago. Councilmember Boyd, Segar, sorry about that. I'm not sleepy, just tired. Any more discussion for the ones that have opportunity, time left to speak? All right. Oh, yes, Councilman Boyd, you already did. Councilman Boyd? You did. Okay, this is just mine since I've listened to everyone, and I know it can go both sides. But, y'all use about all their time, it's my time now. I can see it from both perspectives, but these are the two things. I believe, as Councilmember Sagara stated, about a business, taking the risk, taking the chance. And I like what Councilmember Alvarez stated about, yes, our comprehensive plan, we changed the flume, and we acknowledge businesses should be there. But here goes my biggest factor on this. How much is it, if you said, I think you said the 50,000 view, from that perspective, when we make a decision today, how much is it gonna cost the taxpayers when we get ready to make that connection? If something go wrong, and I can't predict the future, I think Councilwoman Gonzalez said it best, is we have zero infrastructure. And I don't know how successful any business is on a septic tank. If something go wrong, those are my only concern. I'm 100% for businesses. It is a part of the comprehensive plan, but I stand, it's the council decision, so I'm not gonna take a decision, make a decision one way or the other. But just take that under consideration. A person wanna have opportunity and how much it's gonna cost the city in the future. With that being said, all in favor, yes, all opposed, no. Someone's a little nervous to vote. The motion carries 4-3 with Councilwoman Cobb, Councilmember Solomon, and Councilmember Alvarez in opposition. Madam Secretary, once you finish, we can move forward.
PH 24006, hold a public hearing and consider an ordinance amending the corporate city limits of the City of Killeen, Bell County, Texas, DA 2301, by disannexing approximately 5.91 acres out of the W.H. Bruce Survey, abstract number 1296, being locally addressed as 13311 FM 2484, Salado, Texas, declaring said land to no longer be a part of the City of Killeen. The caption of the ordinance reads, an ordinance amending the corporate city limits of the City of Killeen, Bell County, Texas, to disannex approximately 5.91 acres out of the W.H. Bruce Survey, abstract number 1296, being generally located on the south side of FM 2484, west of the intersection with Tress Jack Road, declaring said land to no longer be a part of said city, declaring said land and present and future inhabitants of said land to not be entitled to any of the rights and privileges of citizens of the city, and to not be bound by the acts and ordinances of the city, providing for a severability clause, providing for the repeal of conflicting provisions, providing for a savings clause, providing an effective date.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. I want to see another presentation. Okay, no. Hold a public hearing. Oh, is the applicant here would like to speak? Yes, sir. Please state your name for the record. And good evening, sir.
My name is Justin Prince. Thank you guys for hearing this and hearing out for my request. Just as a reminder, again, hearing the last case about the concerns for infrastructure and the cost for the city of infrastructure for a business, I also kind of would like for you guys to think about the cost of the infrastructure for what I'm actually requesting is to be removed. In the event that I am not able to be removed from the city, at what point, and I don't expect you guys to answer this now, but if you did not, at what point will I get water, sewer, in the basic necessities of being a member of the city? And according to the 2022 comp plan, sorry, I have not looked at the 2024 comp plan, it was estimated $30,000 per acre for development to get those to that area. I know the mine's only 6 acres out of that whole section, but calculating for the tax basis off of it, it would take the city and taxpayers 136 years, I believe, to be able to make money back or get the taxpayer money back out of connecting to the city. And I just kind of don't think that that's right to ask for the city. So that's really all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Public hearing open. Mr. Price.
I'm back. Yeah, I agree with him. It's a long extension. All the annexation that Killeen did went well beyond our infrastructure capabilities, right? You've heard me come up here time after time, and I live right down here in downtown, and I don't have the water pressure, so I can imagine what his issue is right now and why he's making this request. I think it's reasonable. Septic systems are easy. Water systems, well, or the, what was it, West Bell water source, they're already out that way. They already have lines out there, so why not let them go? You know what I'm saying? It's best for him. It doesn't really do anything for us except for not provide him what he needs and take money out of his pocket for tax-based property taxes. So I think they should go where they need to go, and I think that we should let him out of the system, and anybody else, for that matter, that is not in the direct line or in the direct 5-year plan of coming into city services. We shouldn't hold them underneath the thumb of our city limits. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Public hearing closed. Councilmember Adams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I got, after sitting down with Mr. Ravel and Mr. Cagle on this, it kind of, this is almost a no-brainer because of the service plan that was presented years ago that meet with to actually have a resident tell you that his taxes ain't going to help with getting us what we need to do out there is a positive, is a plus. So if there's no other council member that had any comments, Madam Mayor, I move to approve PH 24-006.
Councilmember Boyd.
Second.
Do any council member have any comments? All in favor, yes. All opposed, no. Motion carries 7-0. Can I give a motion to adjourn? Councilmember Solomon. Councilmember Boyd.
Second.
All in favor, yes. All opposed, no.